Hi, welcome to another episode of Set and Change Pod.
Still crazy. It
Almost,
may never.
almost said the wrong thing again. Yeah, got Beans here, Jay here. We went an extra week without recording. Jay had a clinic last week. Tell us about that. Where was it, and what'd you get out?
Atla- Glacier Clinic out in Atlantic City. Um, Honestly, it's just a lot of coaches around the country, whether any level, high school, college. Sometimes they'd be pro. Just soaking up knowledge, man, of the game, whether from both sides of the ball, offense, defense, run fits, coverages, game planning, how coaches go about, deciphering calls and split field coverages, like just breaking the game down, like to simplify it for coaches. I think in the game too, coaching, like you get it's a lot of copycat, but you just taking like tidbits from different coaches and making your own system. Honestly, that's what football is, just really copying, but adapting to what you copy and then putting your own little twist to it. So it was a good weekend, man. Like it just, I've been learning a lot the last couple years. Like the game slowed down for me at the high school level, so just being able to, pick the brain of so many guys that have done well on different levels, even at the same level I'm at, or college. One of the guys that's really dear to me, Darren Edwards, who I really talked to even before this. He was a speaker at the clinic, so all season I talked to him. We talked football for like 2 3 hours, but we just talk about, all right, if we get this, like, just breaking down the intricacies of the X's and O's. Like
Yeah,
I could literally, I could talk about this. Like we literally get a piece of paper and I'm like, all right, if you get this, you get here. Like, what do we change to? Like, seeing it's different for a defensive, I'm a defensive coordinator. So offices, you never really know, they'll give you what they're going to give you, but you always got to be prepared for what you don't see. So yeah, it's different. So I enjoy it though, just being able to stop teams. So yeah, being able to talk to guys like him, like one of the guys like himself, is always a plus for me.
yeah. So you said it's coaching is a lot of copycat. Is there any college coaches, any NFL defensive coordinators that you kind of model yourself after?
Yeah, so I paid a lot of attention to Jesse Mentor. He's now the Chargers DC. He came from Michigan.
Yeah.
Um, because him and Mike McDonald, their systems were confusing teams. Like, so if you're confusing NFL teams, I can find a way to confuse defensive, high school teams where quarterback play isn't as good as it's going to be at a D1 level. So I followed him, follow a couple coaches on Twitter. Like I literally bookmarked when they're just talking defense and stuff. James Light, I was following him. I came across like a freaking DC assistant that was at Oregon, Dante Barty, I believe his name is. Like, yo, literally, I just watched videos. Like, they're like, you always on your phone, but like, I'm literally just looking at stuff, just trying to implement. All right, well, maybe I could take his front, but I could also take this guy's blitz, like, is his blitz pressure. So, and just honestly, the terminology and everything is always the main thing for me. So, I give a lot of guys credit. They are very like schematically, like they're very smart, but you never know who they took it from as well. So you got your own little twist to it. So I got something coming for this year, man.
So I know, you know, college level calls, pro calls, of course, can be very complicated. How much do you have to, I don't want to use the term dumb it down, but like how much do you have to dumb it down for high school kids?
That's honestly that's the word that we use. Like, yo, how can we dumb it down to make it simple? Because I played at the college level, and I'm like, to get that stuff, like you gotta really put the time in. And sometimes high school kids, like their days are not, their minds all over the place. Like I coach at a tech school, so like you think about changing the oil, but also you trying to think about like how I'm about to make a call right now. So um honestly, just like simplifying where it's not like I ain't got to be saying yeah, San Francisco tag ocean like blitz free three roam. Like I don't got to do all that. Like I look at it as all right. Let's give the front call. So always the strength call. Like the strength of the formation. Is it to the boundary? Is it to the field? Or are we just playing it that way? So where's the strength? Give a front call. Got to know the personnel and give So I go D line, linebackers, coverage. So if I'm in an over front, so I could say like over smash, Tennessee, that they know, all right, Tennessee's our coverage, smashes for my backers, and we're in an over front. So something like that. And just like now it's like college don't have headsets like for the players. So now I got to think about hand movements, like signals. So honestly, that's like half my battle is like, how am I going to relay the call? Because for some reason, high school kids don't hear me. And, the game is loud. I'm thinking I'm loud. So just making sure like we get the call to both sides of the field. Because I've had plenty of timeouts. My players is like, yo, coach, I can't hear. I'm like, when in doubt, play man. Like, yo, when in doubt, get a man, play man. So nah, it's the right word to use, dumb it down, because
Yeah.
you don't want nothing too complex. You're like, yo, what? And a lot of guys play offense as well. So I
Oh,
can't have calls that go for like, so
yeah.
a couple of my calls, like my coverages are almost like college teams. So like if I'm calling like Florida, offense has a play called Florida with our team. So I don't want these dudes trying to run a post when you should be in cover four. But
Yeah.
so they're just trying to find a balance with that.
Gotcha. So lastly, what has your progression been from like where you started, what position you started as a coach? What's your ultimate goal, coaching
Um,
wise?
so so I started as a positional coach. So I always DBs and running backs. That's position I played. That's what I knew. Just jumping into coaching. I did DBs for a while for the lab. I did DBs up till last year. Last year was my first year being defensive coordinator. Um, Head coach Derek Lewis. He asked me at I think we were at passing league, 7-on-7. He was like, "Yo, what do you think about being defensive coordinator?" I'm like, "Bro, what?" Like, and honestly, I didn't know much because being a position coach, like you only got to think about my DBs. Like I don't got to worry about run fits. Like that's the main thing with me now. Like just really
Yeah.
learning. I'm still learning. Like where do you fit into the run in certain coverages and blitzes? So like if you're in a 4 down, 3 down front, like I could talk this all day now because like I'm learning. So like I enjoy it because like I'm still learning. But yeah, I was a DB's coach for a while. Was a DB coach at East Haven and Central. I was a DB's coach for a while, and I was doing running backs as well at Central. And I was learning under Sean Hardison. He's the defensive coordinator at Bunnell now, who was like a big bro to me because like he really broke it down. Even then, like we'll get together and we'll just talk ball. Defensive coordinator. I'm going into my second year being a defensive coordinator. The game slowed down. Like it started slowing down midway last year, my first season. We didn't do really too well, but I knew how to get stops. And now knowing like, okay, Tennessee's formations this year was probably, I think, our best year. Like we got about 3 to 4 shutouts this year. Other than that, another 2 or 3 games where we gave up one score, and maybe another two that we gave up, 2 scores. And we went 7-3. And I like to hang my hat like when the offense, like if they were in, a funk, like defense, we made turnovers, we got sacks, a lot of tackles. My DBs actually played very well, so that's also big to me too because I'm still a DB at heart. So seeing great DB play is always good for me. So seeing those guys play well, seeing my linebackers like blitz and like no blitz like paths, just redirecting and just knowing football. Like that's my big thing this year too is you got to know like it's you're playing football, but you got to know football. Like you got to.
Sure.
I don't want to have to dumb it down. Like we got to apply ourselves to understand, and it's my job to teach it. So I'm excited for year 3 as a DC, and I think honestly, like how I feel in our league, I'm not scared of nobody. So like I'm gonna line up and we gonna attack everybody as that.
So ultimately, do you want to be a head coach on this
Yeah.
level? Do you
So
want to go beyond? You want to go college? Like, what's your end goal?
at some point, I do want to be a head coach, but college isn't. I see how the college game is transforming and how it's doing coaches.
True.
Um, I'm still young. Like I'll be 36 Monday, but like I feel like right now that's just not for me. Like it's just I enjoy life. I enjoy doing things, and you don't really see them coaches like coaches are leaving from college to go to the NFL, and they're happy. Like you're DC now, and with the Packers, he couldn't wait to get out of there. Like the way
Yeah.
he talks is like it's like a breath of fresh air. Like yo, I'm coaching. Like you know what I mean. You see
Hmm.
Chip Kelly, he's a head coach, and he goes and takes an OC job. Like you don't see that. So the game is definitely like changing with like NILs and stuff. I have no desire to be recruiting. Like my sister coaches in a college ball, and like she be
Yeah.
on the road. I'm like, I'm in bed, bro. She's putting on scouting tapes. Like I love that part of the game, but no one sees the back end of what you have to do to really like prepare. And
Yeah.
honestly, you can't bet at that level. You know me, I love a good parlay. So if I'm not really ready to give up that. I ain't
Yeah.
really trying to be that coach that's on ESPN for betting. So I'm gonna enjoy this level while I can. But in goal, I definitely want to be a head coach sometime because I think I can definitely lead.
Yeah.
And I believe as a coach, um, I get guys to respond to me, whether staff and players. Like I met guys that's coaching with me now for 1 year, and like they're like, "Oh, what's good, bro?" Like you know what I mean? Like it's that mutual respect. Like all right, like I'm welcoming, but I see other people's point of views, and I think if you ever want to be a head coach, you gotta also be open to criticism and open to just like different type of just how people see things. So I think definitely Ingo will be a head coach at the high school level, though.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good goal. I think there's pretty good football in the state. Of course, it's not compared to what we see like in some southern states, but it's good competition here. It's good, a lot of
Definitely.
good teams here. But I think talking about college, that's a good way to segue into something else. We'll kind of switch up the order what we're gonna do. Talk about Eric. I always pronounce his name wrong. Is it
The
Bieniemy?
enemy? Yeah.
Yeah. So
EB?
he
Yeah.
he actually went the opposite way. He was NFL OC. Now he is in college. So it's been a lot of talk about him getting a head coaching job years ago, and that's kind of faded away quickly. So were we wrong about him? Was he not the guy that we thought he was? Because in Kansas City, he looked like he had it all. Then he went to Washington. They struggled. Now he's not even in the league anymore. So were we just wrong about him?
So I don't know if we were wrong, but I think he did the wrong move for himself. And that's not to say like maybe he thought it was the right move, but like looking from the outside in, it's like, all right, I was with Mahomes for how many years, whatever. We made the Super Bowl. I'm not taking a job that's not already like, you know what I mean? Like a team that's not ready to win right now. I'm not dealing with that. Like, because as a first time head coach and also being like a black head coach, that the leash is short. Like we seen what happened to Steve Wilkes as a head coach. We see like other guys. Like if you ain't Mike Tomlin, well, you're not getting that. You're not getting that type of time. So I just it's hard to fathom that like it really went that south for him because he was the hottest name when they went to Super Bowl the first time when they
Yeah,
played the Niners. Um, it was a lot. It was always talk about like we don't hear about no one else's interviews, but for some reason his interview just it wasn't good. Like he didn't interview well. But like we don't hear about no one else interviewing bad but him. Um, Washington wasn't set up for success though. Like they weren't ready. The O line was abysmal.
mm,
Sam Howell wasn't. He wasn't proven yet. So you were basically putting all your chips to the table and like see what I can do, and it kind of backfired because now once the head coach goes, now you got a whole new front office, a whole new regime, got a
yeah,
new owner. So you kind of, you know what I mean? Like it just, if I'm gonna take a job, I'm gonna take a job that's setting me up for. All right, well, what do we have on offense? I'm an offensive guy, so what do we have on offense? Do we have a quarterback that's like proven, like trying to basically make him who you want him to be, but also having a battle line that can't block, you can't run the ball, so you throw it 100 times. That's why I told my friends like Sam Howell's numbers look good because you throw all game, like you know what I mean? Like it's going to look good, but you also
yeah,
throwing in blowouts. So it's like, yeah, you down 30, but all right, you just went on a 75 play drive. So no one's going to be like, well, you had 300 yards, but you also lost by like 21. So I hate it for him because he was definitely one of the hot, and we need more coaches like him. So seeing that just transcribed that way and then him going back to college, I hope it works out for him and he gets another shot because if that don't work out, then what? Like,
yeah. So yeah, you want to go to a good place, you want to have a good opportunity, but a lot of times those jobs that are opening up aren't always with good teams. So how long are you going to wait it out before you go to the next thing? Should he have waited till he got a head coaching job instead of waiting for a team that's not that good and taking an OC?
honestly, in the NFL, you got Mahomes. I'm gonna ride this thing out till y'all don't want me. Like, I know his contract was up,
Yeah,
but what's the rush? Like, what's if he would have literally sat out another year? it was 6 openings up this year. You didn't like Washington was open again. So like
Yeah.
you didn't have to take it. It was a lateral job. So like, all right, if he waited another year, then you come into this offseason where the Falcons opened up, we got an opening. Honestly, you get us a quarterback, like which we have a top 10 pick. You could literally have that team. So you will have Drake London, Bijan. You'll have like, I mean, you could go get another receiver with cap space. So I mean, it's hard to say because it's probably his dream goal to be a coach for another team. And he also probably want to prove doubt is wrong. But sometimes sometimes when you basically you double down on yourself, you don't always win. So we've seen the outcome of doubling down on yourself and winning, but we also see the other side of it of you not getting the right dealt hand of it. So it's unfortunate, but I don't think he's a bad coach. He always talks about him being also a tough, coach. Like it was, rumors that came out how he, deserved greatness from his players. And that's just the world we live in now. You can't
Yeah.
hard coach nobody because everyone's got a complaint about it's too tough, but everyone didn't come from that. Like, when we grew up, like it was like bull in the ring. You probably get in trouble for doing bull in the ring now. Like you can't do that. But you knew, hey, oh, when you get out of summer camp, you go into practice, it's
Yeah.
bull in the ring at Pop Warner. And it
Yeah.
is you got to hold your own. Like you got to
Yeah.
hold your own. But now you can complain about that now, and someone's going to say something. So I mean, it's just a different world now.
So, do you see him making his way back to the NFL? Because going to the point you made, if a lot of teams just didn't seem to be as interested as we thought they would with him showing what he did on the NFL level. So, if he's not completely dominant in college, what is the reason to bring him back to the NFL? Who's going to want to bring him back?
Yeah, unless you're going. I mean, unless he's coming in as a analyst or a consultant and like trying to work his way back that way. You know how them
That,
dudes try to be an advisor, but like
yeah,
if you don't kill it in college, no one has incentive to bring you back for what?
right,
Chip can't even get back, and his name was being tossed around, but Chip couldn't even get back. So and he hasn't dominated college, and you know what I mean. So like you're not guaranteed that next opportunity. And that's even being from a NFL coach. Like if you're a position coach, you're not guaranteed another opportunity to even get a head coaching like interview, opportunity for anything. So um, I pray that he kills it over there at UCLA. And they got a new head coach as well. So
yeah,
hopefully it works out for him because I definitely loved what he was doing in KC that first go around. Like before teams really started figuring him out. Like I
yeah,
think that's where it slowed up for them. When Mahomes wasn't making the deep passes, like, the touchdowns for 60, 50 yards, when they had to like dink and dunk all the way downfield, people didn't really like that. But that's just, you got to adapt to the game and how people are
right.
playing you. So
Life,
you still get into Super Bowl though. So it's like, it got to be something. But Andy Reid's always going to get the credit, especially over him. So
yeah, for sure. Um, so let's keep it on coaching. And we haven't been on since the Super Bowl happened. The Chiefs, of course, beat the Niners. Good game. Ended in OT. Um, how much would you say that Shanahan is at fault for the loss? One, because of the play calling, and two, because of them deciding to take the ball at OT instead of kicking.
I blame him for everything. I blame him since 2017. Like honestly, Eagle must get in his way sometime because
Yeah, that's what
they're
people were
gonna
saying.
blame they're gonna blame Steve Wilkes, and I get it. Like, but you have to do something. Like as a defensive coordinator, you're playing the best quarterback in the league, especially in crunch time. You got
Yeah,
to do something. Like he got you to fourth down, or he got you to 4th and 1, and he got you to 3rd and 6. Like it was like 3rd and long after I think MVS went backwards or something like that.
yeah, I think so.
So like, yeah, okay, you weren't like I didn't like the comments from other people, like because there was no accountability. Like both are saying, "Oh, we weren't prepared for it." Mahomes never ran that play, so you're not prepared for it. You're never going to be prepared. Like
But
the Chiefs weren't prepared for you to throw a double pass with Jawan Jennings, but like it happens. Like that's part of the game. Like Shanahan just doesn't take credit for his blunders because you got a turnover at the start of the third quarter, I believe. You got a pick, and you were in plus territory, and the Chiefs and you punted. You actually lost a yard, so you didn't run the ball. Like I honestly, McCaffrey should have got 30 carries because they couldn't stop the run.
Mhm.
But then I think a lot gets in their head is let me show. Purdy was the big topic going into the Super Bowl. Let me show like he can do this, but you took points off the board a few times because you're trying to do something that you don't have to with that team. And the Chiefs are just a team that just waits for you to make the mistake. They weren't
Yeah,
that good this year, all year. We've seen it. Like, yo, this team can't. Remember, we said it earlier. If they get to the Super Bowl with this team, that's just mentality. Like, they're just waiting for you to mess up. And they know Mahomes could, when it matters, Mahomes could get down the field and do that. And it's just like, you don't take the ball first. We're playing for third. What? There's no third possession if you score second. Like, there isn't.
yeah, that's true.
So
So
he's just I mean it's not his first time. Like Lions got him off the hook because if they even kick a field goal, he's not even in the Super Bowl. So like they take points, you know what I mean? So he's got bailed out. Even y'all, like if a couple plays go a certain way, if Savage gets that pick six, he ain't here. So
yeah,
a lot
so
goes into play calling and a lot goes falling your way too.
yeah, so would you say he's overrated as a coach, or is
Yes,
he
I
just
would.
a coach that can't get over the hump?
It might be a little both because to get over that hump, like you got to show that you can do it. You can't do it, but this is your third time of really like two Super Bowls and one, like, you know what I mean? You were there. Like, so they've been favorites pretty much throughout his tenure, other than when they played the Rams in the NFC title game, but he has the Rams number. It's hard to say, but it's like that Super Bowl was definitely had to be like him just being like, you just dropped the ball on that. Like, especially when your players are saying, "Oh, I didn't know." Granted, it was the first overtime game in a playoff game since we played in the Super Bowl with the new rule change. But if you know you both get the ball, just give them the ball first, so you know you're getting it, and we know like, okay, oh, you got a field goal, oh, you got a touchdown. Guess what? We know we got 4 downs now. Whereas if you get ball first and you go 3 and out, you have to punt because if you don't get it at your 30 or whatever, a field goal beats you.
Right.
So you still it's almost like college rules just with time because both teams are going to get the ball
Yeah.
and you just match scores if you got to. But I'm definitely kicking. And then, all right, you got a touchdown. So guess what? You go down and score a touchdown. You could go for two and win the Super Bowl right there.
So who do you
It's a
believe? Like after the Super Bowl happened, a bunch of players came out was like, "Yo, we didn't even know what the overtime rules was." But then he comes out and says, "Nah, we went over this during the week. We explained to them exactly how." Like, so what side do you believe?
one player maybe, but when multiple players on your team didn't
Right.
know, bro. But who's gonna go back and he ain't gonna let you go talk to every player again? Like, did he really tell you? Like, coaches be lying too. So I'm gonna take this L, but I'm gonna say, nah, we talked about it and I'm out. Like, cause we don't gotta talk about it again. Because if they brought it up again, all he gonna say is, guys, can we talk about something else? you know how these players do. Hey, I'm not talking about this anymore. We're done here. Like,
Yeah.
definitely lying. Because when they caught check, they caught Juice on I think like NFL, like one of the mic'd up joints, like inside the NFL. He was like, "Oh, I didn't even know like if we score a touchdown, they get buffers." That was like the truth right there, like the
In a
truth.
moment. Yeah.
Right in the moment. Because like if you knew, like someone would have been like, nah, bro, they get ball. None of them knew. So they definitely didn't know. But to save face, nah, they knew, and I'm out.
So let's make some really early predictions. Who
Woo.
is given the state of things that we see right now? You know, the draft hasn't happened, free agency, all that stuff. We got a lot to look forward to. But right now, you had to pick who do you think we'll see in the Super Bowl next year? What two teams?
It's too easy to say the Chiefs. So I'm gonna say they don't get back. Like I'm gonna say they don't get back. Um, too early. Yo, this is tough because like you don't know what's about to happen in the next 2 weeks and in the next month. I'm gonna say if I had to choose the Super Bowl matchups, Ravens because they have to get there, right? They have like next year they have to, right? Ravens
I,
got to get there.
I look at the Ravens like San Francisco keep saying like San Francisco keeps getting there and they gotta win eventually, but they don't. So I mean, the
They can't
Ravens
even
we
get the
expect them
Ravens
to,
can't
but
even get to the Super Bowl. At least the Niners, the Ravens can't even get there.
yeah, but we keep saying like the Ravens are gonna get there, they gotta get there, right? And then they
Because they're
just
gonna
don't.
look good. They're gonna look good between week 10 and week 17. They're gonna look great. They're gonna be like, yo, this team can't be beat. They're gonna
Yeah,
get a bye, and then we know like, oh, you did that again. Like it's
yeah.
just um I'm gonna go Ravens. Ravens versus NFC is a mess because NFC is about to change up crazy.
Yes,
Like
that's
what
where I
y'all about to
struggled.
do? Like what y'all about to do? What the Lions are the Lions going to regroup? Who's going to be up and coming? Is Dallas ready? Like
It's a lot of questions.
are the Eagles? Wow, man. Ravens. You know what? Coach plays his own team. Ravens Seahawks.
Ooh, Seahawks. Wow. I was
Ravens
that's
Seahawks.
I was not expecting that at all. Okay.
Ravens
I think
Seahawks.
you're gonna need a big bounce
They,
back from the Seahawks.
they'll have the defense there. The offense
Yeah.
is in place. Like the offense is you got like long as I think Gino kind of had a his year wasn't bad, but it wasn't the Gino was like, okay, they aren't like, Gino from year one in fantasy Gino. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
so I think if they could get that offense and you got Jackson Smith and the Jigba, you got DK, I'm pretty sure Tyler Lockett may be gone, but there's a
Mm,
whole bunch of receivers in this draft coming up. So
true.
if they could shore up that offense, Mike McDonald gonna get that defense, and I love your coaching staff. Bringing in Leslie Frazier also as an assistant head coach, like
Yeah.
I love that move. So yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go there, man.
Surprised. You named a lot of good teams before them. I thought one of them you would pick, but I can see the Seahawks.
Honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if y'all make it, but I'm not gonna say that in front of your face. Ain't Jordan in the league too, so like I'm not giving y'all that time of day. Nah, but in the back of my mind, like if Jordan Love gonna play like how he played in that first 3 quarters,
Yeah.
nobody gonna beat y'all.
I think we have a chance. I was thinking the same way you were. I think the Ravens, are the only team that I might put over the Chiefs. I'm gonna pick the Chiefs to be there again. I want to say the Bills, but I just can't. Like I can't trust them. Every year,
So,
it's kind of similar to
something
the
wrong with
Ravens.
them.
Like we always think that they're taking that next step, and they just never do.
They're
So
Dallas East. They're like Dallas, like up, like Northeast. Like
that's a very good comparison. It's the same thing, pretty much.
got
So
everything, but then what now? Like you have Mahomes at home now. Like what? Like you have Burrow at home. Like come on, dog. Like
yeah,
both of those.
yeah. So I'm gonna go the Chiefs, and then this is just off the top, not knowing what players are gonna be back, but I'm gonna go on a limb and say the Rams. I like what they did this year when they weren't expected to. The offense is gonna be fine. It's just a matter of the defense, and that's a really tough division. We got the Seahawks coming back up, San Francisco,
Niners
of
too.
course. So, but I think the offense will carry them. If the defense could be almost as good. And then I also think we got a shot, but I'm not going to say that on here either
Yeah,
because
yeah,
people
I
think
know.
I'm biased. So
Yeah, but oh, he's starting already. Yeah,
did the
got to
Seahawks make the
uphold your
playoffs?
image.
The Seahawks did make the playoffs this
No,
year.
they missed it. They missed it. Yeah.
Okay, so I think I know your answer already because my next question was going to be, what is one team that didn't make it last year that you think will make it next year? One team that did
Definitely.
make it that you don't think. So I'm assuming you to go with the Seahawks on that
Yeah,
first
definitely
part.
Seahawks. A team that made it that won't next year. Whew. Let's see. So AFC, it was Ravens, Bills, Chiefs. Um, damn, Texas will definitely probably be there. Only way Texas. I mean, it's hard to not see like their future is bright. Like,
Very.
um, if there's a team, you know what? It could be the Eagles. Like, you just don't know what will happen over there. They got a lot of free agents.
Yeah.
Um, I know they changed up some stuff on the staff, but I don't know what that was. Like, you know what I mean? Honestly, they got into the playoffs because the year they started off with like 10-1. So like that's the only
Yeah.
reason why they made it. Because if it was another 3 weeks, they probably miss it.
Yeah. They ended horribly. I don't know if I've seen anything like that before. It was just off a cliff.
Like, yeah. So I mean, if it's a team, because I think you'll be there.
Hope so.
Because I mean that division, like the Lions are there, but like y'all know how to you like when it's time to play ball, the Packers just somehow when that grass start turning from green to a little brown, like y'all start playing well.
Yeah, it's a tough division too. We got to remember the Vikings lost
Vikings, but you got
Cousins.
to see what they do with Kirk. If Kirk goes
Yeah,
back there, if they're going to be looking for a quarterback, if Justin Jefferson signs long term, so um, I mean, if that had to be a possibility, it'll probably be I would say the Eagles, but y'all are probably the only other team if I had to pick out there because
there.
like Dallas should be there, like because you expect like you expect Dallas, San Fran, and those guys.
Yeah, but
Um,
also, what about Tampa Bay? I think that division, you never know who's
true,
coming out of that
true,
division because
true.
you
Got to
guys
see
could
what
take
happens
the
with
division
Baker.
next year. Yeah, you guys could take the division.
Till we get a quarterback who actually ain't thinking about the division. I'm so traumatized that the quarterback play, dog. Like, I don't think anything that looks remotely like just normal. Yeah, Tampa. Yeah, you know what? Tampa will probably be it because Baker's a free agent and Mike Evans is probably leaving. So, I'll take that back. I wouldn't say the Eagles. I'll say Tampa.
Yeah, I could agree with that. Um, I only got a little bit of time left, so we'll start this topic. We could pick it up later. In the chat the
Yeah,
other day, I posted the that random list of most overrated players ever. So we can talk about all-time lists later, but it is a few players that I was thinking about. I want you to tell me if you think that they're like if they have been overrated over the course of their career or not. The one we talked about already. One is Russ. I don't want to add injury to insult because they're doing him
yeah.
crazy right now, but seeing the defense that he had all those years and I was thinking about the NFC Championship when they played us. He threw 4 interceptions and they still won off the strength of defense and special teams. So, is he career wise has he been overrated?
So I look at it different with Russ because I had Russ in fantasy. Pissed me off. Yes, like, but something happened because the Russ that we used to throw dimes and stuff, we just don't see no more.
Yeah,
Like, even if he wasn't like getting there, we always knew like, yo, Russ about to, oh, Russ comeback, here we go. Like, we're no one's even scared of Russ anymore.
yeah, it's true.
I don't know if it was just the whole Denver change, but Seattle Russ and Denver Russ is two different players. Like, and I hate that the way that his trajectory is going with going to the Broncos and like it don't seem like it's gonna get better. He's gonna be in those conversations, like we said, because there's only so many years he had in like Seattle, but they still weren't winning though. Like he was doing that, he was coming back, but they weren't winning playoff games. Like he was still losing the playoffs. I remember him losing at Seattle at Green Bay one year. So like they weren't making it. Like they missed a couple times. So yeah, he might be because like what do you have to show other than the Legion of Boom?
Yeah, it's very true. Yeah, I think he's hard to judge because
Yeah,
when he was good, he was really good. But when he was really good, he also had a all-time defense with him. So and they bailed him out. Like the example I gave you, it was a bunch of games where he had, two,
whole bunch.
three interceptions and the defense bailed him out. But there was a handful of times where he carried the team when the defense wasn't playing well. So it's like, you don't know. So him and there was another player that, because I was just thinking off the top of my head that came to mind. I wanted you to think about him. Um, Odell. He had a couple great seasons with the Giants, and he's gonna live in infamy forever for the catch. But outside of those couple good seasons with the Giants, not much with the Browns, not much with the Rams, not much
They
okay
blamed us.
season, I guess.
They blamed us in Cleveland. They they, they blamed us,
That that was crazy, the
and
back and
he
forth
had
with
Lamar
Cleveland.
this year. Like,
Yeah.
so like,
So, I mean, what do you think?
um,
Career wise, has he been
yes,
overrated?
because he lives in that fame of that. You know, he's a dancer. You know, he's the celebrator. Like, so but his aura attracts like NFL fans. So it's like, yo, dang, his kids was getting blonde mohawks for a while. Like, he was a trendsetter. So everyone
Yeah,
loved that. And then the catch happened. But then you think about, okay, you wanted to get like they sent you there to rock. You say that, all right, nothing happened there. He had a great Super Bowl. He had a great start to the Super Bowl. Then you got hurt again, and it's like, now what? Like Odell's not even a go-to guy no more. And then like the Giant years, his career started off as an injury. Like he had a hamstring injury.
yeah,
He like a little like nagging injuries plagued him. He tore his ACL in Cleveland. So um you hate to say it because like the player, like we've seen how he can like dominate games, but we also see like sometimes he can be a non-factor. So I think he's definitely
true.
borderline. Like he's definitely borderline. Um, because I do think if he doesn't tear the ACL, though, he probably wins Super Bowl MVP. So I'm gonna give him that credit because he was about to go on a tear. So I think he's borderline of the overrated line.
And one name that did show up on that list, that it's weird because half people say he's underrated and half the people say he's way overrated. The one guy that was kind of in our era that was on that list was Eli. So do you think he's overrated or underrated? Because he got the rings, but his numbers outside of those years aren't really it.
So, but what you play for though, the Super Bowls, right? Like that's what you play for.
That
Like
is true. Yeah,
so, when he was playing, my thing with Eli, when he was playing the NFC, that's when the NFC was the NFC.
yeah,
Like
True.
You got to go through Breeze. You got to go through A-Rod. Like it was crazy. And then your goal for getting through those guys is, all right, go deal with Big Ben or Peyton or Brady. Like,
Yeah.
so if you look at like the record is like definitely subpar, but when it mattered most, like the times he did it, like no one else could do that. Like he got beaten probably the greatest. It would probably been the greatest team of all time. He beat them. So like, and then he did it again a couple years later. Like
Yeah.
it's hard to say that he's overrated when people are dying to be. We're dying to beat Brady. Like couldn't do
Yeah.
it. But I can't call him overrated just because he got Brady. Like his numbers in a regular season are going to be like, like. Would you rather have that, or would you rather have this postseason success?
Yeah, that's true. That's why it's
Because you
such a hard.
you can kill it. You can kill it. Like it'll be like the opposite of James Harden. Like you think you wouldn't trade his regular season for a ring? Like of course
Yeah.
you can keep the MVPs. You can keep that. If I'm not winning a ring, if I can't, if I'm coming up short in the playoffs, they're gonna remember that more than I went 171 and 171. Like
Yeah. It's like Lamar kind of that. Like we see the greatness during the season, the
yeah,
MVPs, and then playoff time. It's like, would you rather have his career with the MVPs or would you rather have the Super Bowls?
and obviously Super Bowls. Like because I
So
mean, what else you if you're playing just for that, then okay, but no one is.
yeah.
You're playing for the ring. So
Yeah.
I can't call Eli overrated because he got 2 rings against the greatest quarterback of all time.
Yeah.
So and he's cemented in history. Like I can't, I
Yeah,
can't.
I definitely get it. Yeah. So yeah, we could put a pin in it there. We'll talk about the like an all-time list maybe on the next episode.
And don't
Um
worry, I'll tell you right now, Clowney, Trevor Lawrence, honestly, Michael Thomas stealing. He is overrated. Michael
oh my
Thomas,
gosh, yeah, Michael
yeah.
Thomas. I forgot
Michael
about him.
Thomas,
He's like, I forget he
yo,
was even in the league sometimes.
Derek Carr stealing, overrated. And honestly, man, Hurts might be up there too. But like
Mm.
Moose said, shout out to our friend Moose. Gotta watch a little bit more. I gotta see more. I gotta see, but he might be overrated too.
Yeah. So yeah, before they kick us off, we're gonna get out of here. That was episode 3. Good to talk some, you know, of your
Yeah,
stuff at the
definitely,
beginning. Maybe we could work on getting a couple of coaches on to talk some ball with us soon.
definitely.
That'd be good. But yeah, that's episode 3, and we will catch y'all next time. Set and
Yes, sir.
Change Pod.